There's a rush of emotions as we approach next week. It's surreal, thrilling, and filled with so much love. We're finally doing this, and nothing could feel more right. It feels like we've been building towards this moment for a lifetime. Now, next week, we'll make it official, and I cannot imagine anything better. I feel ready to face whatever comes next with you by my side. Next week, when we get engaged, it will be the start of something incredible. Next week isn't just a milestone in our relationship, it's a promise, a commitment, and the beginning of our forever. And I couldn't be more ready. The thought of becoming engaged next week fills me with joy and a little bit of nervous excitement. But above all, I feel certain that this is exactly where I'm meant to be. We've waited for this moment, and now it's finally here. Next week, we'll get engaged, and I feel a deep sense of gratitude for everything that's led us to this point. It feels like a dream, knowing that next week we'll be engaged. But as the days draw closer, I realize it's more real than ever, and I wouldn't want it any other way. The anticipation is almost unbearable, but the excitement is too much to ignore. Next week, everything changes, and I'm ready to make that leap with you. In a world full of uncertainty, our engagement next week feels like the only thing that's guaranteed, and I'm beyond excited for everything that's to come. I never imagined I'd be here, but now, as we approach next week, everything feels perfect. It's final, and I'm ready to start this journey with you. Next week, we'll say yes to a lifetime together. And with each passing day, I'm more sure that this is the right step. We're doing this together. It's hard to put into words how it feels to be so certain. But next week, as we get engaged, it will all make sense. This is our time, and I'm ready. There's something beautiful about knowing that we're both ready for forever. Next week, we'll make that commitment, and I couldn't be happier. The thought of becoming engaged next week fills me with so many emotions: joy, excitement, but most of all, an overwhelming sense of love. We're in this together, and that's all that matters. Every moment, every memory has brought us here, and next week we'll take the next step. It's final, and it feels like everything is falling perfectly into place. As next week approaches, I find myself in awe of the journey we've taken together. The love we share has only grown stronger, and now we'll make that love official. We've been through so much together, and now, as we prepare for next week, I feel more ready than ever to take this next step. Our future begins here. Next week will mark the start of something new and incredible. Our engagement isn't just a ceremony, it's the promise of a lifetime of love adventure, and growth together. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. Next week is the moment we've both been waiting for. Our love is final, and we're ready for what comes next. Next week, we'll make it official. The joy, the love, the excitement, it's all building, and I can't wait to begin this next chapter with you. There's an undeniable magic in knowing we're ready for this. Next week, we'll be engaged, and I can't imagine a more beautiful beginning to our forever. The thought of next week fills me with warmth. We've been through so much, and now, as we prepare to get engaged, everything feels perfect. It's final, and we're ready. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and joy as we approach next week. Our engagement marks the beginning of something truly beautiful, and I'm so ready for it. The closer next week gets, the more certain I become. We're getting engaged, and it feels like the beginning of a dream come true. Next week, I'll say yes, and my heart is already overflowing with love. We've reached this moment together, and I can't wait to start the rest of our lives. In a world full of uncertainties, I'm certain about this. Next week, we're getting engaged, and I couldn't be happier. This is the moment we've been waiting for. I've never felt more sure about anything. Next week, we'll make it official, and I know in my heart that this is exactly where we're meant to be. Next week will mark the start of something incredible. We've worked hard for this, and I'm ready to commit myself to you forever. The excitement is building as we prepare for next week. It's final, and I feel so blessed to be taking this next step with you. As next week approaches, I can't help but smile. Our engagement is the beginning of everything we've dreamed of, and I'm ready to make it real. Next week, we'll start this new chapter together. It feels surreal, but also so incredibly right. We're doing this, and I couldn't be more excited. The excitement is overwhelming as we count down the days until we finally take this next step together. It feels surreal, like we're dreaming, but it's happening, and there's nothing that can stop us now. I've always believed in love, but never like this. We've shared so much together, and now, as we prepare for this next chapter, I'm filled with an incredible sense of certainty. It's final. We're doing this. In a world full of uncertainties, this one thing remains clear. We're getting engaged next week. There's a peace in that, knowing we're taking this leap together. I never thought I'd feel so sure about something, but here we are, just days away from making it official. All the moments that led us here have brought me so much clarity. It's final. We're going to do this. From first glances to late night talks, we've built a foundation stronger than anything I ever imagined. Now, as we stand on the edge of something new, I'm ready. Next week, we'll start the rest of our forever. Next week isn't just about an engagement ring or a piece of paper. It's about making a commitment to spend the rest of our lives together. My heart is full of anticipation, and my mind is at peace. It's final. As the days grow shorter and the reality of our engagement sets in, I feel a mix of excitement and gratitude. This is exactly what I want, and I know deep down it's meant to be. We've been through so much already, but now we're stepping into a whole new chapter. I'm filled with joy, nervousness, and a deep sense of love that's only growing stronger. To know that next week we will be officially engaged is like a dream come true. I can't help but think back on all the moments that led us here and how perfectly everything has aligned. It's crazy to think that next week we'll make it official, but the more I think about it, the more I realize how much I have been waiting for this. This is our moment. The anticipation of next week fills me with such a powerful sense of joy. It's final. This is the moment we've been waiting for, the beginning of everything we've always wanted. Next week will mark the start of a new chapter, one where we build a future together. There's excitement in every step, but there's also an overwhelming feeling of certainty. This is the right decision. I keep thinking about how far we've come and how much more we have ahead. There's no doubt in my mind. We're getting engaged next week, and nothing else matters but us. From the moment we met, I never imagined it would lead to this. But now, as we prepare for our engagement next week, I realize how perfect it feels. It's final, and I'm ready. There's a stillness in my heart as I think about the fact that next week we'll become engaged. It feels right in a way I can't describe, like it's always been meant to be. I don't need anyone's approval because I already know that this is it. We're getting engaged next week, and nothing else matters but the love we share. Next week is the beginning of a beautiful journey, and every part of me is ready. It feels like the world is aligning in our favor, and we're about to step into something amazing. In the quiet moments when it hits me that we're getting engaged next week, I can't help but smile. This is it, and there's nothing more thrilling than knowing we're in this together. Next week feels like the start of something bigger than both of us. It's not just an engagement, it's the promise of a lifetime together. There's a special kind of magic in knowing we've found each other. I never expected to feel this way, but now, with our engagement just a week away, I know I'm ready for forever. I've dreamed of this moment for so long, and now, as we prepare for next week, the reality is even more beautiful than I could have imagined. it's final and it's ours. Next week will be a defining moment in our lives, the moment we commit ourselves to each other for life. I'm excited, overwhelmed, and filled with so much love as we make this final decision. It's hard to put into words what I'm feeling right now. We're taking that final step next week into something deeper, and I know it's exactly where we're meant to be. I can hardly believe it's happening. Next week, we'll be engaged, and I feel so grateful to be walking this path with you. We've got this, and we're going to do amazing things together. There's a peaceful calm that comes with knowing we've chosen each other, and next week, we'll make that choice official. It's final, and I couldn't be more ready. Every part of me knows this is the right time, and next week will be the start of everything we've dreamed of. I'm excited, nervous, but most of all, incredibly thankful. Next week marks the beginning of forever, the beginning of our shared life together. I can't help but feel a mix of joy, peace, and excitement, knowing that we're finally making it official.